One thing that is now a common practice whenever you see an MCU property is you ask 2 questions and 2 questions only. When the fuck does this take place in the current MCU timeline? And then, was that person or those people or those individuals blipped?
I mean, it's a great.
Those are the only questions you really care about.
Infinity War and Endgame were impactful enough where it's just like a question on your mind.
Definitely.
Were they?
No, I agree. Now, the question that we have was Shang-Chi, was Katie's family, was the leader of the Ten Rings organization, or like hell, most of the Ten Rings organization. Were any of these individuals blipped? And and the other question is, what were they doing during that 10-year period? So Arjuna has written down some facts.
Yes.
A lot of facts.
Facts.
Now, I guess the big question.
The first one is an assumption.
Well, okay, so the first one is an assumption based off of when Wu goes after looking for Tao Lao. It's
that was in
1996.
Yes.
Right? So depending on...
We got the classic title of 1996.
But we don't know.
What we don't know is how long it took for Wenwu and Shang-Chi's mother to fall in love, leave, and have Shang-Chi, right? Now, is it the same year? Like, we don't know if it's early 96, late 96, how many years that take.
It could be up until... It could take 6 years. It could be...
We really don't know.
Yeah.
We really, like, there's no indication.
Yeah. But what follows from that one assumption?
Yes.
You can go in any direction because you can finagle the numbers any way you want based on when they're born.
I mean, one thing, though, that kind of works, kind of doesn't work is we know when Shang and Katie are talking to their friends, they're talking about how, those two became friends. And when Shang came to America, somebody called him the Gangnam Style Kid, which we know came out, in the real world in 2013.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Again, we don't know when it came out in that show, but you could use that as kind of an anchor point.
Real life references.
Yeah, and if that's like the anchor point, then you could make the assumption in 2013, let's say he's 14, right? And then let's blast it off to 2021.
Well, this movie would take place in 23, though.
Right.
2022.
So that's 10 years later.
Yeah.
So which would put him 20. That would make him 20. That would make him 24.
That would make him 24.
But we don't know at the time of the events of Shang-Chi what his current age is. So he could be 24. He could be 29. And then that would basically be the deciding factor of was he blipped or was he not blipped.
Right. It's interesting, I think, too, because like even on the creative side, because we like to talk about, when they make these scripts and when they're making these movies, it's like it's a thing they have to think about, right? And it's something that you have to be intentional about and like kind of be able to set. I mean, you also now have this multiverse thing where, as Michael pointed out in the movie, they could just say it's a different universe, like it's just a different timeline.
Again, the multiverse thing. The multiverse thing is something like the fans are talking more about as opposed to the creatives, right?
Right, for sure.
And then, back to the whole being blipped and not blipped. The director did say they purposely just kind of left it open because there was so much Shang-Chi story to tell that it didn't feel super important. And I kind of agree with that.
No, I don't think that you have to talk about it in the movie, but I think from the creative background, when you're kind of shaping the characters, that has to be part of the conversation, right? Because it's a big event that would still have some type of impact, even if it's as simple as they're 5 years older or 5 years younger. That's an impact on the character, right? Like
whether they lost friends for 5 years,
right? Are they early 20s or are they mid 20s, right? Have they been valet parkers for all the? If they were around, were they doing valet for 5 years? Like that's part of. What goes into
I'd like to imagine if they were around for 5 years that they wouldn't have been valet attendants.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, what the fuck? Or because what it would mean is like before the blip, they were valet attendants. The blip happens. They did something for 5 years, and then for some reason they got back into valet attending. Like, I mean, that's fucking
all
wild.
They know.
Yeah,
and all they wanted to do was
drive
cars.
That's
and
fucking
park
crazy.
Them.